My name is Njuguna, and primarily look after information technology at Safaricom. I'm the director in charge of a department called Digital IT. We do quite a lot for the business. Part of it is day-to-day operations, making sure things are working. So anytime you're doing transactions on M-Pesa, you're doing a star something, your calls are going through, you are browsing, you're buying some new bundle, or you're doing stuff on even social media, that whole range, ensuring that those services are always available, always working. The other part is just also ensuring that we're using new and modern technology, big data, IoT, machine learning, AI, all those type of technologies to bring innovation to our business. That's working both with internal stakeholders as well as external. So there's also that part of innovation. I think quite excited about the things we build. I think I have a team of close to 800 people, mainly software developers, young people. So always being in the creative space, but also making sure that services are working. When I entered the space, I had just finished high school, and I initially, if I could just, give a bit of context, I wanted to be a lawyer. But then towards the closing of my high school career, people started talking, or my time in high school, people started talking about Y2K is coming, and everything, the whole world will shut down. So I was very interested in knowing what are these computers that the whole world will shut down because of. And that's what piqued my interest and started fiddling with computers. By the time I finished high school, I got myself into town. There was a lot of places you could take packages. And then before long, I was building computers. I was connecting people. I always give a story that when I'd go to a customer to connect them on the internet, those days we were using modems. And when you'd hear a sound like a cat that's being strangled, that's when you knew the connectivity had happened. If you didn't hear that sound, there was no connectivity. I think now moving so far, now I don't believe anybody uses modems anymore. We went into the era of, we had the Ethernet, we're talking now about fiber, we're talking about wireless, we're talking about 5G. So I think I've seen connectivity on its own evolving over that period of time. Like when I first started in the space, we used to use some discs that were 5 1/4. Then we had 3 1/2. They became smaller, and I probably still have quite a stack of flash sticks that I would use to store programs. Those days we were coding on black screens. Now it's totally changed. So many people in the space who have never even seen what those look like. We have mini flash disks. Now we're storing things on cloud. Also I've seen democratization of technology. Back then, when I would go to like IAT, was where I did quite a lot of my early studies on Loiter Street. Back then you needed to have a bit of money. You needed some money to learn IT. Now you just need an internet connection. And I've met developers who they openly tell me, George, I've never been to any university or college. I've learned all my stuff online. I have certifications, and they're able to earn a living. So there's a lot of democratization. I think I'm at that space where I'm saying, what else is possible? I've been very passionate lately talking about digital skills and talent in Kenya and in Africa. I think where I'm at, a few years ago I was inducted to the CIO Hall of Fame. I think by God's grace I've probably gotten most of the awards I can get as a CIO. I think right now it's about nurturing the industry, bringing in future leaders. I think being selfless and saying how do you create a lot more jobs in the space. So those are some of the engagements having with government, with multiple stakeholders. A few months ago, we brought up together about 46 organizations that committed to a digital talent program that will be equipping about 1,000 young people each year. Can we grow that to 10,000? So for me, what I'm thinking about more is the future of the industry, and realizing that I need to use my influence and my role to help define that future and bring a lot more people into that space. I think one is courage. I think I'll say I'm a bold person. I think I'll be quite courage, probably coupled with being authentic. I'll say it as it is. Part of it sometimes is saying when you failed or when you've gotten it wrong. Just coupling that with also being gracious, also in success, carrying the team along with you. I think people describe me as a people-centered type of leader. I grow my team, I stand up for them. I'll also be tough on them, but at the same time, I share the big stage with them and make sure that they're visible. Sometimes that means other people spot them and they leave, but I'd rather be the person who was part of preparing them for success than holding them back. I think I work hard, I really work hard. I think I'll do anything from a minimum of 14 to 18 hours a day. Sometimes there's a time we had an incident and I worked 24 hours, rested an hour, 26 hours, and 27 hours over a long weekend. Finally got the service up and running in the morning. So my team will tell you I'm with them when they're handling big issues. I'm not remotely there, I'm physically present. Not hovering over them, causing grief, but managing stakeholders, communication. I remember those days, early days, you'd see sometimes M-Pesa trending, Safaricom trending. I can tell you that makes my heart drop. Before I even know what's trending, then I'll check what is it. Hopefully it's a campaign. But if it's systems, I'm probably going to be in the office pushing some long hours. So I think constantly doing that. And the other one is excellence. I think always striving for excellence, not settling for just good enough, but saying how can this, be it a small thing or a big thing. I always believe that if you can do small things well, the big things will come, because the big things come out of a series of small things you've done with excellence. On one hand, it was being away from my family, being in an entirely new area. I went to schools that were predominantly white, in some cases facing racial injustice. An exciting moment while I was away was being part of Barack Obama's campaign for change as a volunteer and getting people out to vote. Sadly, I couldn't. When they'd ask me that question, have you voted? You don't even want to do it. You're saying, no, you need to vote. And I'm very happy when President Obama won Pennsylvania, they called the election. I was living in Pittsburgh, and a very, very exciting moment for me. But I think also diversity, met lots of people, realized that there's the world that perhaps I'm used to. I always say when I was born, my family lived in Waithaka. My dad says it was a two-roomed house, but I'm not sure the rooms were quite separated. I suspect they were probably separated with a sheet. And being able to see what's possible and what people are doing was fantastic. But I was very committed when I left Kenya. I told my late grandma that I would come back. And even if she died while I was away, I came back because I believed I had more to offer here. I call myself a son of Africa. But I think all those experiences, networks, have allowed me sometimes to benchmark on what's possible here and to be able to go for it. I think also the way of the work ethic, the way people work, the way people use technology, I think those were fantastic years. I played rugby while there for the Pittsburgh Harlequins. Fortunately, I broke my ankle and soon after came back. I said, I'm going to finish myself before coming back to Kenya. So maybe that was a life-changing moment, going through surgery and a cast. But I think all in all, it's been a thrill. But I find myself enjoying and wanting to be more in Kenya than anywhere else.